Our final company tonight is Longboat Energy. The Faroe management team sold for $900 million, and now they're hoping to do it all over again. As Longboat, they have raised £85 million and bought non-operational share stakes in 7 near-term wells, soon to be drilled in the tax-effective Norwegian sector of the North Sea. 2 of those wells are due to spud in December, 2 more thereafter, so lots to play for. And the Egyptian Vulture find is currently being commercially assessed. Helge Hammer, CEO, joins us from Norway. Greetings, Helge.
Thank you, Donald, and good evening, everyone. Half a year ago, we announced 3 simultaneous deals with Equinor and Spirit and Idemitsu. We had built a bespoke drilling program of 7 wells. We went on through the approval and qualification processes and completed the deals in a timely manner on the 31st of August, ahead of drilling. We spudded the first well shortly thereafter, and we have already drilled 3 out of 7 wells. We made 3 discoveries. The Egyptian Vulture well is by far the biggest and the closest to pre-drill expectations. I'm coming back to that in a second. The Rodhette well in the Barents Sea was also a discovery below the expectations in terms of volumes, but we believe still has a good potential of being commercialized. The Mugnetin well was also a discovery, but unfortunately in that case, what we had interpreted as a amplitude anomaly being an indicator of oil turned out to be a thick coal layer, which was one of the pre-drill risks. So that's a sub-commercial find. The wells have all been drilled very efficiently by the operators in a safe safe manner and on budget. So that's all good news. We are now kind of planning for the next well. We are right in the middle of a very exciting period. There's a lot to play for still. The targets, the remaining prospective resources of the remaining 4 wells, 75 million barrels with a total upside of 267. So that's still a huge number, down from the 324, which was the number for the 7 wells. The wells are largely targeting gas resources, which we're very pleased with. Fits our thoughts on value and good ESG performance. These are all infrastructure-led exploration, all near-field opportunities, all within tie-back distance. That means they have attractive economics. They have good potential for commercialization through swaps or divestments from our side. And they also have a very positive environmental impact. In parallel with this active program, we continue to chase M&A opportunities, and I'm coming back to that. So let's take a closer look at Egyptian Vulture. This is a well that was targeting a very large seismic anomaly sitting in the Norwegian Sea just next to the Maria discovery. It was an old Faroe discovery. And here we had interpreted this vast anomaly as a potential layer of hydrocarbons in Cretaceous. And this came in on prognosis, extremely happy with that. A nice 36-meter hydrocarbon interval with a good quality sand on the top, which could be a good target for putting development wells in. The next step now is to assess all the data that was collected and then plan the appraisal strategy for this discovery. The key issues is, say, the lateral extent of this anomaly away from the well. And another key uncertainty is the PVT analysis. This is interpreted as a very light volatile oil with a very high content of gas. It means it's close to what's called supercritical conditions, means it could behave well in a depletion drive. And as we have already highlighted in our press releases, we believe recovery factors can be significantly higher than what has been announced so far by the operator. Work will go on for a few months to make sure we have interpreted the seismic and updated the seismic interpretation, the reservoir models, the fluids, the recovery factor, before we go on to decide on the appraisal well and appraisal well location. This is in an area where a lot of discoveries are being made, a lot of development projects are underway, so plenty of opportunity here to commercialize. The two nearby big hubs is the Åsgard and Kristin fields. Both have ample gas and oil processing capacity. The other discovery we made in the Barents Sea was the Rodhette discovery, around 9 to 12 million barrels, which is not insignificant. We believe this could be developed in conjunction with other discoveries and volumes in the area. There's a lot of work ongoing to plan gas export from Goliath and Alke. Also, Tornerose, just to the north of Rodhette, is an undeveloped gas and oil rim discovery. There is also a lot of activity here to look at production of blue ammonia or blue hydrogen with gas. And this is an area where you have ample electricity and gas, and hence it's a good and very small population. So it's a good opportunity to use that energy for new type of blue transitional energy projects. If we go on to look at the next wells, we have 4 more wells coming. Extremely excited about this program ahead. The next well is due to spud this month. That's the Ginny Hermine, which we operated by Equinor. Then we have 2 more wells operated by Equinor coming in the end of Q1, starting with Kveikje, drilled by the deep sea Stavanger rig, and followed back to back by Cambozola. And then in the summer, early summer, we expect to spud Copernicus, which is the tendering for the rig is ongoing. That will be operated by Pignig, the Polish operator. If we look a bit closer at these wells, Ginny is in an area which we know intimately well from many years working in this area with Faroe Petroleum. We drilled the discoveries just to the south here, the Bogenheim, which you see on the map there. And we also had the Pil and Bua, which became the Fenja project, and Njord. All of that were important Faroe assets. And so we are kind of right on home turf here. And the well is being drilled right in between 2 discoveries, the Galtvort to the west, and then you have Hasselmus to the east, which is a development project now because that has been sanctioned and is underway as a satellite to Drogen. In this prospect, we have stacked reservoir potential, Upper Jurassic Rogn and Middle Jurassic Garn, in which case, if it comes in at both levels, could be quite a significant volume. We then, let's say, take a look at the Cambozola, which is, we have 25% of a very, very significant prospect. This is what we could call a play opener in a mature area. It's a play opener because on long offset seismic, you certainly can see these fans and channels, and they stand up as very bright and with a lot of good gas indications. There are gas chimneys and shallow gas also in this area. So huge potential volumes immediately next to infrastructure. Kvitebjørn field is a big gas discovery and gas development project, which could be a host for Cambozola. And you have other giant fields here like Snorre and Gullfaks and the Troll field just to the south. And then look, zooming out a bit, you see how this is an extremely prolific area. A lot of discoveries have been made lately. That's because of the big advances in new seismic. So there are discoveries like Swisher, Equinus South, Blasto, Røversø, and so forth. So Equinor here is hoovering up discoveries to take into development. And Kveikje sitting right in that setting with a lot of the top and well is being drilled as we speak, and as soon as that's finished, the rig will come and drill Ginny. The Kveikje has a very high chance of success, 55%. That's because this has a strong anomaly, which is difficult to explain with anything else than presence of hydrocarbons. Potential is for this to grow is also very significant. So what we've seen with these type of injectites, there's all these sub-seismic volumes. It's what you've seen, for example, in the Catcher field in the UK, which is a similar type of setting. And then the last one, the Copernicus, is further north. It's still a tieback to infrastructure. The Polarled gas export pipeline and the Aasta Hansteen field are the natural tie-in point for Copernicus. It has a DHI. DHI is a direct hydrocarbon indicator, also from high-quality seismic. And very, very significant volumes. And the gas from here can flow in pipelines all the way to the UK market through Polarled and then onwards across the North Sea. So that's the drilling program. We continue to be actively chasing M&A opportunities. We think we are in a very excited market right now with a lot happening. Norway is seeing a huge amount of development projects being brought forward to sanction. That combined with relatively few players looking to grow and invest. There are some still growing, looking at much larger deals than us, and some looking at smaller deals. But this sweet spot of $100 to $200 million would be, say, an area where there are relatively few companies, but quite a lot of deals. So we are relatively optimistic on finding some attractive opportunities. The strategy for Longboat is unchanged. We set off to replicate what Faroe Petroleum did and build an E&P, a full cycle E&P company. We've started with exploration, but the intention is definitely to grow into production and build 2P reserves. We have a proven record. We have a very, very skilled team, a lot of competency in M&A. And we are all shareholders, so we're worried about share price being low. Means we have a lot of focus on any deals we do being value accretive to shareholders. The company is in a strong position financially. Very pleased that the wells that have been drilled so far have come in on budget. Means we are in well cashed up for the remainder of the program with equity capital and with the exploration finance facility. It's worth noting that the Norwegian government have proposed change in the Norwegian petroleum tax system. That's a very interesting change because we have for years now benefited from the exploration tax refund, which has been hugely successful for Norway and led to a lot of big discoveries and a lot of growth in production. The proposal by the government is to extend that exploration tax refund into a general repayment of the tax part of your pay of your loss of all your losses. So instead of just having an exploration refund, we get a refund against all our loss position, which means that the threshold, for example, for developing or participating in development for a small company is very significantly reduced, which again then have impact on the M&A market. So it opens up new opportunities for us. So that's in short, in summary then, we are well underway with a very exciting program. We drilled 3 wells, one significant success in the Egyptian Vulture. The appraisal well is being planned. We'll come back to that as soon as we're ready to make that decision. 4 more exciting wells with huge volume potential to come. Next well spudding already expected this month, and then further in end of Q1. And it's all focused on near field exploration. Delivering gas to the UK and to the continent is seen as, I think the recognition that the gas is important transitional fuel is awakening up thing that is happening in Europe. And in parallel, we are looking at value accretive M&A opportunities. Thanks for that.
So can I ask you, which of the 4 upcoming wells are you most excited about, and why are you most excited?
Well, the most exciting one is Cambozola, because you know, it's huge. It has all the kind of it ticks all the right boxes. We have 25% of it. It's a potential huge company maker.
Okay, and the other 3?
The other 3 are all, I mean, they're all exciting. I think the 2 big ones are Copernicus and Cambozola. Ginny and Quake are more like bread and butter, but can be really good value creation for the company. Okay,
let's look a little bit backwards. You seem much more positive about Egyptian Vulture than the market response, which was at best a little bit lukewarm. Have investors missed something here?
Yeah, well, I think it's something we've seen before. You know, it's a typical problem with an exploration well that sometimes you need to drill an appraisal well before the market really recognizes the potential value. I think that's what we see here, is that you know, I wish it was such that, let's say, one well could resolve all issues, and in some cases it can. You know, if it's a small, very well-defined structure and you drill a successful well. So if Mugnatin had come in as a success, you would have seen the market react immediately, because, you know, all the questions were answered. But this Egyptian Vulture, you know, 80 square kilometers it's a huge area, you know. So and 440 million potential, you know, STOIP. This could become a big field, but that takes more than one well to prove that up.
The appraisal well element of it, I mean, how much of that is fully funded already?
We do have, you know, if the wells that are in the program for next year come in on budget, then we're well funded for an appraisal well as well, actually.
And how much might that appraisal well actually cost? Even very roughly?
Yeah, it depends a bit on the program, you know, because that could end up being a well that is tested, for example, and then it could become more expensive well, but somewhere in range 40 million.
Okay. So these things aren't cheap, no?
No. I mean, you're in a Norwegian Sea. You have like 6th generation, you know, semi-subs. So, but see, that's the cost side of things. But then if you make a discovery here, you can pipe it right into the market, you know. So.
Yep, and there's the upside.
Yeah.
So it's all risk-reward stuff, isn't it, Helge?
Absolutely. And I think that if you look in the Norwegian sector, it has delivered huge values for shareholders of companies. You know, you look at companies like Lundin or Aker BP or Faroe up till it was sold. So it's after Faroe was sold, exploration records have been very good. You know, you're looking at up to 50% success rates. So,
and let's talk to the tricky side of oil. Oil is deeply unfashionable at the moment. Shell have pulled out of Cambo post COP26, or perhaps they were going to pull out of Cambo, nothing to do with COP26. They're just pulling out of oil altogether. Oil extraction is seen as a dirty business. So why do Longboat still believe in it?
Well, I think it's oil and gas is needed for years to come. It's I think there's a wake up happening. You see the electricity prices and gas prices in the UK, and we have the same here in Norway. The shortfall. We had huge investments in renewables. That's all very good, but you see that you get into intermittence problems. You get all sort of issues. So you're going to need gas and oil, and I think gas particularly is very, very interesting because gas is actually very efficient from an emission point of view. So I think that's another one that is happening, and I think it's unfortunate that with the uncertainty in the UK, political uncertainty that has kind of occurred, and Shell hasn't made it any easier, obviously, but we continue to be optimistic. I mean, we've kind of put a little pause button on the UK, but expect to be, and so I think our strategy is to be an active E&P player both in the UK and in Norway, still valid. But
would those tax breaks make Norway more attractive than the UK though?
Yes, and I think also it's political support is still strong, and I don't know if you noticed, Norwegian Prime Minister was probably the only one in Glasgow who dared to say that oil and gas has a role to play. I think
Nicola Sturgeon used to tell us it was Scotland's oil, but strangely enough, it's no longer Scotland's oil. Hey, what can I say? Politicians are fickle, Helge.
Yes.
Okay. Swaps. Are you still seeing deal appetite in Norway? Are you confident you'll be able to swap discoveries for production in the current market? There's been talk of you taking some of your assets and swapping them.
Definitely. I think that's absolutely core to our strategy. We would love to swap Egyptian Vulture for some production. That would be a brilliant deal. You have Pignig. Pignig, for example, is in the asset with us. Pignig is the Polish gas company, very hungry for gas, continue to make acquisitions and to make Poland gas sufficient without too much Russian gas. So the politics there as well, but plays into our hands.
Helge, why would somebody give up current production for future hope?
Well, that's a volume trade-off, and it's a future kind of volume trade-off. But that's
it is potentially doable, though.
Definitely. I mean, it's always companies that lose out. And it could be infrastructure owners. You have infrastructure owners in the Osegard and in Christine suddenly find that they have less and less of the equity production that goes through the infrastructure, and then they see other companies like us suddenly adding volumes in the area. They would look to rationalize. Maybe they give up some oil production somewhere else to be in a nice gas field development in Norwegian Sea.
Okay, which takes us neatly to a question from the London South East chat board, which is often where I go to find my questions, to be honest. Have Longboat been economical with the strategy? Said somebody on the board, Helge. Firstly, it was buying production, then it was exploration and swapping into production. Now it's looking like you're buying production again. Discuss. Are they being a little bit tough on you, do you think?
No. I think it's it's an absolutely valid question, and it's a good question. And answer is our strategy hasn't changed. We are out to replicate Faroe. We are out to build an E&P company, but we also have to look at deals that are value accretive, and we have to do. And the thing with the deals and the market is it swings. In end of 2019, we launched Longboat. We were about to do production deals. We had them lined up. Then COVID hit and the oil price dropped and the market just dried away. Then a few months later, half a year later, we recognized nothing was for sale in terms of production, but everyone were looking to divest their exploration assets. So exploration became a unique opportunity, and it's interesting that Equinor, if you look at we did a big exploration deal with Equinor. If you look at the last Equinor announcement in the quarterly last week, they say they are now on the hunt for farm-ins. So we hit the exact right timing for getting some farm-ins done. So we are still in the market. We're focused on value creative deals. Could be, and we're building an E&P company. That's what I said. We have a lot of dialogues going with companies at the moment. We don't have any active processes, but
so what you're saying is it's important to be opportunistic, even though it makes it look as though externally you're flip-flopping, but you're actually have a firm focus on becoming a full cycle E&P company, and it just doesn't really matter whether you start at this end of the cycle or that end.
Absolutely, and I can assure you, we have continued to review all the production opportunities been in the market. There hasn't been a single regret. The deals that have been done, we've kind of said no, thank you, and they're not been done at terms that we would have accepted.
Okay. Can I ask a question from Niall Savage? It's slightly complex, so let me run it past you and see how we get on. How many employee incentive plans are in place, and what are the share price triggers, he asks. Have the targets become less ambitious since the IPO? And he says, I know that all the information is in the various RNSs, but the RNSs are quite wordy and technical, so a simple clarification would be very helpful. He just basically...
Yeah, I can't be kind of too... it's difficult to quantify this on the spot, but we have 16 employees, 4 in London, 12 in Stavanger. Everyone are incentivized on the share price the way we like it to be. It's I would say it's typical UK AIM company incentivization. Nothing kind of extraordinary in terms of the.
I think he's basically what he's trying to get at is, have you made life too easy for yourselves in terms of getting bonuses on, because the share price is pretty low at the moment. So
no, but I mean nothing has been realized. The share price has to go way up before anything can be realized, and it's kind of too early anyway. So
okay, so on two levels, it's too early. Okay. Yeah. So how would you give me a final thought? What do you feel about progress so far? 3 down, 4 to go. That's your first roll of the dice. Are you happy? Unhappy? Tell me your frame of mind.
I'm obviously unhappy with the share price. That's the only thing I'm unhappy with. Apart from the share price, I think I'm very happy with the progress we're making. I think we are on to build a very substantial and very exciting company. I mean, we are in some absolutely key wells, and deals that we're looking at are looking extremely interesting. So I would say, except for the share price, we don't recognize this, but I think I can understand that more information, more success, all of that will come through. But apart from that, I'm very excited about where we're heading.
Thank you so much indeed for your time, Helge. That was absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed it. There's so much detail in there. I really want to go back and listen to that all over again. Thank you.